surprise you to learn that social media sites are now planning to start censoring the content on there?
Depends on what you mean by censoring.
Censoring certain political opinions or links to sites.
Censoring what they deem negative or what other people deem negative.
It would be Facebook, the actual company, or Twitter, the company, choosing.
So executives at Facebook censoring
them
that?
choosing what content. They can use algorithms and put in keywords, tag words. If they show up, it can be censored. What do you think about that?
An algorithm isn't necessarily a negative thing. I think using the word censorship is a negative thing. So by asking me that, that's a loaded question.
Well,
You're asking whether the CEOs are dictating what news gets portrayed, right? But then you tell me it's an algorithm, so that's two contradictory
what I'm
things.
saying is algorithms are just simply algorithms. They can be used
Written
for
by,
good.
an electrical
They can-
engineer, not a CEO.
They can be used for good. They can be used to help users find content that
That's
they're
correct, yeah.
looking to find. But you could also use these algorithms to censor content.
So
that-
are you asking whether this algorithm is a negative thing or a positive thing?
It's not about that algorithm. It's about censorship. Do you think that
Censorship, yeah.
these companies should be censoring content because of a political view or because of, these sites are labeled or blacklisted?
Used by an algorithm, though. The algorithm is what's doing the censoring, is what you're saying. But the censorship in itself isn't necessarily a negative thing. It depends on what you're censoring and how you're censoring it. By what you're telling me, it's an algorithm. The computer's doing it, right?
No. The people programming the computer are doing it. They're just using the algorithm as a mode of transportation, a mode of doing it. It's not the algorithm doing it. It is the person behind it, and Facebook choosing to allow that to happen.
That is true, yeah. Facebook's allowing these algorithms to bring up certain amounts of content. I can't guarantee that this algorithm is a censorship algorithm like you're stating, though.
Well, we know that Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Facebook, has outwardly, been being pressured by international communities to censor and further use censorship on Facebook to censor what they label as fake news.
Fake news,
Yes.
So do I agree with censoring fake news? Yes.
So
Do I
what
agree?
news should be what news outlet should be called fake news, and who should decide this?
News in general should be bias-free, right? So if it can be readily assumed that this is bias-free news, then there's no need to censor it. If there's fake news out there, then yes, that's obviously biased, right? So that does need to be censored.
Wouldn't you say mostly all news sites have a little bit of bias in them,
Yeah,
including the mainstream
Exactly.
media?
And that's the sticky topic of how do we guarantee that what you're telling me right now isn't biased? How do I guarantee what I watch on KKTV isn't biased? Right?
So do you think that it should just all be censored then?
No, I think with due process and accurate representation of the facts, it's apparent.
Shouldn't it be more about if journalists get caught outwardly lying or deceiving the public? Wouldn't that be something more along the lines of if there were to be any censorship, shouldn't be
Hasn't
companies
InfoWars been caught lying?
No, InfoWars has not been caught lying. And every site has a little bit of bias.
What's his name? Alex something?
Alex Jones.
Yeah, he's been caught lying.
No, he hasn't. Can you cite which source?
Not any more than you can cite. I got this right here.
I can cite. There was, for example, Don Lemon interviewed his cameraman and made it seem as though he was interviewing a passerby on the street after Trump won.
There needs to be a call to action, and I need Hillary to stand up right now and walk in and sue the United States of America.
Thousands of people still continue to gather, but like you heard this man, very passionate about the idea. He doesn't want Hillary to stop.
Yeah, Brian, I used to live there, and I know that guy. That's John Gurkovic. He actually went to Africa with me as a cameraman. But anyway, that's another story. All right, thank you, John.
I just named one right there.
What was the question?
You asked me to name one because I said, can you name a lie? You said, Alex Jones has been caught lying. What's the lie?
Okay, 1 second. So you believe that your news site is completely unbiased? Is what you're
I'm
saying?
asking you to cite what you're talking about.
I know. I'm asking you if you believe your site is unbiased.
I said every news organization has a very little bit of bias in them.
So
It's
no.
impossible to say that each site out there is going to be biased. When we have ABC, NBC, who are openly super liberal,
I'm not saying that they're correct or incorrect.
I would say that a majority of our viewers are conservative. I would say that, but that doesn't mean all of them are.
So I got approximately 20,000 hits on Alex Jones' line. I don't know where you want me to start.
Sure, what's the line?
Trump ally Alex Jones suffers debate and meltdown over line. Trump ally Alex Jones suffers debate and meltdown over line. Alex Jones exposed.info. 8 times Alex Jones completely misled his audience.
What are the websites? What are the websites for the links you're reading off?
Google, wideshut.co.uk, Infowars, your website.
Where does that say?
Oh, CNN, sorry.
Yeah, CNN cotton biggest lie. Okay.
Alex Jones exposed.info.
Okay.
Media
So
Matters America.
Now, and one of the reports you filed is Media Matters for America is filing fraudulent tax returns. And in a lot of these reports, you actually have the documents. You have the numbers. You didn't need any special passes. You didn't need any special clearances. You, as a citizen, looked into this and found scathing documentation of fraudulent tax returns and money laundering.
Yeah.
these are all really credible sites. You would say these sites haven't been caught doing fake news? These aren't the sites you're talking
No
about?
site's not been caught doing fake news. So that's a misleading question.
Yeah, those sites you reference are tabloids. They're not really
Well, I'm not sure how
reputable
long-
news
I'm not
sites.
sure
You're
how
not
long you want me to go
referencing
through
Washington. You're not representing or referencing any credible
But
news sources.
But I could.
And she could say you've got loaded answers for preconceived questions she
Yeah.
hasn't even asked yet.
Well, you
Because
guys
you're
haven't had
already-
me sign a waiver and you're putting me on camera.
You're in
so
the
that's a
public.
little-
You're in the public. We
Oh,
don't
that's
have
true.
Yeah.